Ladies and gentlemen, I would, of course, much rather have stood live in front of you today. But health comes first, and luckily we can make use of this digital solution, thanks to which we can keep in touch and keep you informed, which is very important to us. The past 8 months have challenged us all in finding solutions and answers to the COVID-19 crisis. When it comes to resilience, the Port of Antwerp passed the test. Since the outbreak of the coronavirus, we as a major European and international port make, together with the entire port community, every effort to keep the port 100% operational. But we cannot be fooled by certain shocks we experience and only strive towards short-term solutions. We are faced with long-term disruptive evolutions and challenges that urge us to design a long-term strategy. Of the 120 million tons of CO2 that Belgium emits each year, 18 comes from our port, of which 14 from heavy industry or ETS. As a port, we play a crucial role in the climate issue. We cannot ignore it. But as Europe's largest integrated chemical cluster, with strong companies and an extensive pipeline network, we are not just the problem, we are part of the solution. We must ensure that as a world port, we become the driver of the energy transition and not a bigger contributor to global emission levels. Therefore, we do not only need to green our activities, but we can and have to play a pivotal role in the world's decarbonization challenge. Today, our platform imports largely fossil energy flows like crude oil, natural gas, and electricity to produce chemicals and fuels for transport. But we need to shift to renewable energy to keep playing this role tomorrow. Together with the industry, we keep working on reducing CO2 emissions and the transition to alternative energy sources and a carbon-neutral port. In order to do so, we team up with business frontrunners to realize very ambitious lighthouse projects on green hydrogen, carbon capture and utilization, circular economy, waste heat, and alternative shipping fuels. Energy supply remains the biggest climate transition issue. Not only the electricity demand, but also the demand for heat, transport, and feedstock. It is clear that wind and sun will become the main renewable energy sources. Local production of renewable energy sources and high voltage transport capacity will not be sufficient to meet the Belgian energy demand of the future, as we are based in the so-called energy sink of Europe together with the Netherlands and North Rhine-Westphalen. In the Hydrogen Import Coalition, we did a calculation. We would need around 100 terawatt-hour in 2030, because we not only cover our own needs, but we are also an important throughput hub today already for gas. We need a robust and flexible energy system where, in addition to local renewable energy production and direct electric transport, renewable molecules are also important. Hydrogen offers the answer. These molecules allow large volumes of renewable energy to be transported over long distances to where and when consumers need it. Hydrogen and carbon are indispensable for organic chemistry, which as a sector is very firmly anchored in Belgium and Antwerp. These substances will no longer be produced on the basis of fossil energy sources, but will be renewable and circular. Hydrogen molecules which can facilitate the transport and storage of energy, are also the basic raw materials for our future sustainable industry and further embedding of this cluster activity. Green hydrogen will play a decisive role in the energy transition and in making European industry more sustainable and achieve the European Green Deal. Electricity is expected to decarbonize a large share of the European energy consumption by 2050, but not all of it. Hydrogen has a strong potential to be the complementary energy vector. We want to give every chance to hydrogen as an energy carrier, as a basic element for chemistry and as a fuel, and therefore commit ourselves as an active pioneer of the hydrogen economy. As Europe's largest integrated chemical cluster, we are an important link in this. That is why we developed an integrated 2030 hydrogen program, including actions and projects for the production, transport and distribution and the consumption of hydrogen. One of the projects I am particularly proud of is Power to Methanol. We established a consortium for the sustainable production of methanol together with 6 major players: Engie, Fluxys, Endeavour, Innovin, Oil Tanking and the PNV investment company of the Flemish government. By 2023, we will start the construction of Power to Methanol demonstration plant at the Innovin site in Antwerp, with the aim of producing 8,000 tons of sustainable methanol annually, thus avoiding at least an equivalent volume of CO2 emissions. After testing this innovative technology that connects renewable energy and chemistry, the next step would be to build a commercial plant, aiming to produce 100,000 tons. This is a new milestone in sustainable methanol production in the Port of Antwerp and an absolute scoop for Belgium. As the 5th largest bunkering port in the world, we aim to become a multi-fuel port by 2025, where in addition to conventional fuels, alternative, more sustainable fuels can also be made available. We also ordered a tug powered by hydrogen and methanol, the first in the world, and a step further in our ambition to make our entire fleet eco-friendly. This requires large investments, but you have to put your money where your mouth is, and we walk the talk by sustainable investment. A very promising project is NextGen District, which is the new name for the former site of General Motors in the immediate vicinity of the chemical cluster. We are currently transforming this 88-hectare into a hotspot for circular economy, where we can confirm our pioneering role in serving as a testbed for technological and sustainable innovation. It will be an industrial site where end-of-life products will be given a second or third life. Circular carbon solutions will be researched and experiments with renewable energy will be conducted. By 2023, we plan to install a large-scale hydrogen and CCU demonstrator. The goal is for NextGen District to grow into a hub for innovation and cross-fertilization in circular economy, giving oxygen to the new generation. In order to take further steps towards a Belgian hydrogen economy, we joined forces with DEME, Engie, Exmar, Fluxys, Port of Zeebrugge and Waterstofnet in the Hydrogen Import Coalition, a partnership that bundles technological, market economic and policy expertise across the entire chain. We brought our industrial expertise together for the integrated research of the value chain of importing renewable energy over long distances in the form of hydrogen carriers. We looked at different high potential production locations with different sun and wind profiles, and at different hydrogen carriers: liquid hydrogen, methanol, ammonia, synthetic methane, and a liquid organic hydrogen carrier. It is our objective to gain insight on the value chain and thresholds of hydrogen import. In the past year, we have performed this joint study of the entire hydrogen import chain, calculating the cost of the considered carriers at a flange of our industry in 2030 and 2050, which we are rounding up as we speak. I would already like to share with you the three key findings of the study. One, our thorough calculations show that cost parity with a fossil benchmark is within reach for 2050, and even much sooner for some cases, depending on different carbon tax scenarios. The potential for hydrogen carrier import is thus clear, but financial incentives are required on the short term in order to support industrial scale-up and reach the necessary cost reductions. We can't miss the opportunity on the longer term by not investing already today in the first steps. Though the renewable electricity production accounts for the vast majority of the overall molecule cost, between 60 and 95 depending on the scenario. Therefore, there is a preference for production locations with a low leveled cost of energy, meaning high full load hours of sun and wind. Overall, there is no silver bullet, no clear winner scenario has been identified. The market demand will strongly influence the outcome. But for most off-take sectors today, we still see different parallel transition pathways possible. But hydrogen carriers, for sure, will play an important role in our energy transition for feedstock, heat, heavy-duty transport, and power. That means that multiple carriers and locations remain feasible, which adds to a robust and flexible energy supply. Our region clearly has the right assets to become a leader in this field, especially because of the presence of the seaports, which are ideal hydrogen hubs. They have strongly anchored industry and are internationally renowned energy hubs for import, transport, storage, and processing. The existing and potential pipeline infrastructure can be configured for regional transport and connects companies and clusters from the North Sea over the Scheldt to the industrial European hinterland. And the innovative business community contributes with various demo projects and initiatives for production, cross-border import, and various hydrogen applications. So after this first phase and taking into consideration these key findings, which are the next steps? Well, first of all, we will continue to collaborate with the Flemish knowledge institutions and administrations in the development of a roadmap. And we will focus on broadening the industrial base with consumers, technology companies, and co-investors. We furthermore want to work on a number of concrete pilot projects through, among others, a feasibility analysis of Flemish carrier import terminals and the setting up of concrete import terminals. Besides this, in view of the complexity of the matter in combination with the challenging Belgian governance setting, we are investigating the possibility of a Flemish hydrogen envoy based on the Dutch model that could be a bridge builder across administrative levels and public-private borders. As I said before, the importance of ports in the wider decarbonization agenda cannot be underestimated. Our role is to be the pioneer. We are experiencing a unique window of opportunity to make the real difference. It is clear that we cannot do this alone. We need strong partners and collaborations in this process, because the network always wins. So let's move forward together. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very interesting day. Take care and stay strong and healthy.